All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So Daddy Freeze did this live yesterday. We're going to be reviewing within the fair use guidelines. Okay. Shout out to Daddy Freeze for the content. Let's go.
Tidings. More day, don't day.
You don't. Somebody should teach me
You don't
what
tell
the
it,
hell
don't
is you
what
don't.
do.
I knew what you don't was, but it looks like that's a whole new thing now, right?
Nation of gossipers, where are you?
Nation of gossip.
Where are you?
See your life. Let's keep going. I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
End talk. We are here to talk. Maybe a woman, if he just cheats, he can be in the chat where Two-Face said men can be in love with a woman. He used the word he can be in love with a woman to hell and back. But one day, if he just cheats. You see, political correctness and feminism no go kill us.
Somebody just brought in feminism again.
My grandfather had 4 wives. My father has 2 wives.
I tried to stay on topic yesterday,
right? For a man to be monogamous. Is it normal even in my family? My grandfather get 4 wives. 4. My papa get 2. You won't come tell me say it ain't normal to have 1 wife as a man, as an African man.
Some of this issue is social intelligence, okay? When you keep talking about your great-grandfather and your great-grandfather, that's really a social issue, right? That's social awkwardness. It shows up in this way sometimes, okay? Sometimes it shows up, you're just like, what's wrong with that guy? It's a little off, but sometimes this is the way it shows off. I don't know if it's deliberate, but we just notice more and more people are actively pushing against the reality of the world they live in today, right? None of these guys are polygamists. None of them. They might be cheaters, but not polygamists. Okay? Those are 2 different things. Right? But let's keep going.
You see, let me separate 2 words. Normal and noble. Let's not confuse one for the other.
All right, intellects.
We have 2 words here. Normal and noble. Do not mistake one for the other. It is noble. It is noble.
Let's see. Did your father use internet?
For a man to be monogamous, it is not normal. Especially if the man is African.
Let's talk about this normal thing. That I keep, because that was a script that almost went viral. It kept talking about noble, normal, right? What is normal? This is their dictionary here, the one that everybody is using the most, right? Normal, conforming to a standard, right? When you talk about something is standard, right? That means you've collected enough data within certain contexts, defined parameters and standards, and then you decide that something is normal or something else is not normal, right? But it looks to me like a bunch of people just want to go back to 1960 and pull that into this context, right? Today, what is normal? Not based off of what you're saying, your actions, right? Not based off of what you're fantasizing about, which is polygamy, right? But off of really what you're doing. You might want to argue that cheating is normal, right? You might want to argue that. But to argue that polygamy is normal is clearly could make sense. Okay, it's just not making sense. Most people don't do that anymore, right? Some people still do, right? In the world that you live in, I'm not talking about Saudi Arabia, okay? In the world that you live in, majority of you listening to me right now, you don't have that full chest. You can't do it. What you might try to do is cheat on a person, have a baby on them, and then try to flip it into polygamy. Shout out to you all, okay? That's not exactly polygamy. That's more so cheating, right? So if you want to argue that cheating is normal, then we can have that debate, right? But there's conflict here, right? There's conflict. So the usual is what you will call normal. Not the usual from 1960, the usual in 2023 and beyond. Maybe you can go back to 5 years if you want, maybe 10 years at most, right? But majority of our parents, even them, they just start to practice that Oyibo thing. You can claim, you can argue that it's an Oyibo thing, But the norm right now is monogamy when it comes to the practice of family, marriage, right? You can argue that cheating is normal, but that's another conversation too, right? All right, the usual, the average, the typical state or condition. That's what normal is. I just wanted to bring that before I continue with Daddy Freeze. Let's get back to this.
It is not normal. It is noble. Since I've been with Taste Buds, I've not been with any other woman.
Oh, is that just you?
It's not normal.
It is not normal.
Work I had to put
semantics.
Work she has to put in. Work we have to put in together to make it work. Because I will be lying if I sat down here and told you it's normal and men don't cheat. Men are wired differently from women. We are good to go.
We've already established that today, right? And most of you agree with me that we're wired differently, right? But again, there's more to the conversation, and that's why we're trying to have. And this kind of opportunities present themselves. And that's why we need to keep having the conversation. Let's keep going.
Every day of the month. You people have your ovulation, you have your
periods.
We have
ovulation every day. Wait, what?
You people have your ovulation, you have your periods, you have some...
No, what did he say about men?
We are good to go every day of the month.
Okay, all right.
You people have your ovulation,
so
you have your
speaking
periods,
to the biology.
You have some days in between. We are ovulating every day.
Weird.
Let's talk.
You
I want to make we tell ourselves, or you want, okay, let me gather, men should not cheat.
Right?
Someone said,
would the conversation be over if we say men should not cheat? Because I agree, and I think he agrees on that too, right? The issue here is, let's go back to do women like, do women hate hearing the truth, right? I think he's going to try to bring it back to that, right? We agree that men should not cheat. Fantasy, right? Now, for me, you might not be hearing me clearly yet, right? Am I justifying that since they cheat, they have a reason to cheat? No, the major lesson in that is going to be for men. When I do get to the lessons, honestly, it's going to be for men, okay? Because there's a lot of men that talk like the man that we read earlier, who is saying cheating. When they've been cheated on before in the past as a man, of course, naturally, he pushes hard against cheating as a standard, from a moral standard standpoint. But that's not enough, okay? Because human beings are human beings, okay? And they will do all the wrong things when it feels right. Let's continue.
Is it not normal to be noble? Absolutely not. Normalcy and nobility are two different things.
All right.
Someone said even
so he's saying noble. He's saying noble. I'm wondering what noble means. I'm starting to look it up. I can read people's feelings and emotions, and I will use my own way of talking, which is C6 English level, right? So I'm starting to, like, I have to practice the same thing. If people are looking at dictionary meanings, I'll look it up, right? Let's see what noble means, okay? Noble says belonging to a hereditary class with high social and political status. I can rock with that. I think it's a noble thing not to cheat, steal, or lie, right? Right? But it was sounding like you needed candy for doing something that's right, okay? The society will reward you, right? But he said aristocratic. They didn't mean aristo, but you know, that level. Having or showing fine personal qualities or high moral principles. Okay, so it's not normal to not cheat, but it's a noble thing to do. Okay, I'll take that. But he's talking about cheating, okay? But did he mention polygamy? So I'll take it from him if he's talking about cheating, but I would just need to ask him what kind of stats he's looking at, because these men are not even getting sex. So, but that's another conversation. Let's not mix it all together, okay? But I'll take that so far. But let's not mix cheating with polygamy, right? Like Adebusola said, most women will respect polygamy, right? What they don't respect is the same thing that we don't respect, like being caught off guard, betrayal, right? Complete betrayal. Like, dude, that's not what we signed up for, right? So it's only fair we need to acknowledge that cheating is wrong. I think more so, cheating is wrong, right? More so than saying that it is noble not to cheat. No, hey, tell him go. It's like before, uncle, right? But let's get back to it. Let's see what else he has to say.
Men cheat. It is not normal for African women to cheat. Cheating for African women, we got it from our religious and Western influence. Traditional African women, they're not born you and make you cheat.
That's the social aspect of things,
right?
There
are some parts of the country you come from, if they catch you say you cheat, they go drive you come out the village. Women cheat more than men because of two things: Western religion and cultural influences.
So are we all agree? Do we all agree to that women cheat more than men? Yeah, that's a new thing that keeps coming. We understand there's sexual liberation, and more women are feeling free to do what they gotta do. Somebody said earlier they do it out of revenge too, right? And is it acceptable still? Right? But I don't know. We're still collecting data. Let's continue.
Please. Show me a tribe in Nigeria that allows women to have more than one husband. Mention, is he Igbo? Is he Yoruba? Is he Hausa? Is he Fulani? Show me a tribe in Nigeria show me a religion that we practice in Africa, traditional Islam or Christianity, that allows a woman to have more than one husband. Where it was normal, the way it was normal for Abraham to have wives and concubines. The way it was normal for David to have wives and concubines.
So we're bringing in
to another level.
Wait,
he had 1,000.
So what we're bringing in, how many years ago is that? How many 5,000 years ago is that? Yeah, the conversation is not conversationing, right? There is a forceful attempt to justify here. Okay, I will acknowledge that. Okay, there's a forceful attempt to justify here. In the same breath, you say women are cheating more than men today because of Oyibo. Okay, well, that's the reality, because everybody, because they wear Oyibo clothes right now. The t-shirt is wearing is not made in Abakaliki. Maybe it was actually, but it's not our style, right? Right? In the same breath, you are saying let's go back to 500,000 years ago, like the conversation. Listen, this guy received super chat yesterday from men. They were loving him when he was talking about this. Like, yes, it's true, it's true, yes, right? The truth is somewhere in between. Okay, the truth is somewhere in between. Let's continue.
Some women, 300 concubines and 700 wives, or 700 concubines and 300 wives, one way or the other. You see, the problem we have is
something you know you can't do.
Normalize Western values.
It's not normalized, it's normal. Oyibo Daddy Freeze. Oyibo. You are an Oyibo man. Is it me? Is it whining Jesus? I mean, what is going on here, right? There's nothing to normalize. It's the norm. This Oyibo man is talking about westernizing something. What is he talking about? The norm is different. That's why there's arguments around this. Right? There's an active pushback. It's like somebody's pushing back and you're like, do like this and you do like that. You're slapping yourself. Do you now realize that it's different? Just like men and women are different. The world we live in today is different. If you're going to get women to acknowledge that we're different, you at least start by understanding that we live in a different world too, right? Can we change? It's constant. Why am I referencing David and Solomon in this conversation? That's confusing as shit. It's annoying too. Jesus Christ. I'm confused, but let's keep going.
Tonight, listen, I am monogamous, but I tell people that it's not normal, it's work. Monogamy is not your entitlement as a...
Part of the issue is that we keep saying it's work. I've said that here before. We keep calling marriage work. Life is work. Of course, you have to go to work. If you value anything, of course, you have to work to maintain it. But you keep stressing it like it's work, like it's some extra type of work you're supposed to do beyond being a human being and being the better person and being a better person than you were yesterday and always attempting to be a better person. You're not perfect. Can you acknowledge you're not perfect and stop calling it nature? Right? Can you acknowledge we don't live in a perfect world? First. Right? Can we do that first? Right? And it's a beautiful thing to be on a journey of trying to be a better person than I was yesterday. I suppose, like, no, our forefather Solomon, my friend, like, if you're asking for some level of empathy to understand that we're different, we can have that conversation. Yes, we can have that conversation. But there's an active push here to justify bullshit. Okay? It is absolutely true that a man is much more accepted in society to cheat. There's not much of a consequence for that outside of he can potentially lose his family. That is a big deal. But if he's not tapping into how much of a big deal that is to lose his family, if he's not in the rock bottom yet, he's just going to another opportunity to get away with the crime, right? It's not really a big deal. And it's true, it's not really a big deal from a man don't have to be emotionally connected to enjoy Kerewa. That's just the truth, ladies. Okay? And it's normal that you are having a hard time to comprehend that. That's what makes us different. We don't have to take the conversation beyond that. The rest of it will be just over shalaye that will not lead anywhere. You just end up quoting Solomon, David, and all this nonsense. Shout out to Humble Prince on Instagram. He was like, Mr. Two-Face, some things are better left unsaid. That's like the best thing I've ever heard in this topic so far. Some things are better left unsaid. But not just to talk too much. Talk.
Woman, it is the work you get for working with your husband to achieve certain goals.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if it's work or not. Okay? We're talking about the work you're supposed to do on yourself so you can have better level of self-control. Positioning yourself, understanding how the human mind works. I don't think a man is capable of avoiding an opportunity that presents itself to him. I think what he's capable of doing is positioning himself, fleeing, learning how to not to surround himself with certain type of. This is why I keep saying Davido is in a position that is just hard, because he's a man, he's accepted by women to behave in that way, right? And he has no connection emotionally to if he participates in a little bit of Kerewa right there. He will enjoy himself in the short term, yes, but he will go back home and love his wife. Now, there's a level you get to when you're in love with your wife. If you're really in love with your wife, right, that you can't wait to get home. But to argue that you're in love while at the same time your prick is just talking all the time, you can argue. Can we argue that the in-love thing goes in and out? Right? And you might just be in the moment. But it's a moment. It's a moment. And it's a moment that can destroy your life completely. Can we acknowledge that first? But it's not new that people do things that can destroy them. Right? It's the justifications. It's the same issue. It's what Two-Face was trying to do. And that's what he's doing right now. Right? It's very, very simple. It's 5 top ways. We're different. We don't see the same way. We're different. What that means is that men need to understand that more so than anybody. So if you don't want to lose your family, you don't want to participate in bad behavior, you need to understand that you're not capable from a moral standpoint because you're a man. If you find yourself with opportunities for the most part, you will take it. For a woman, it's a little bit different. It is still different. It's changing, but it's still different. It's still different. Because women get presented with opportunities all the time. If men get presented with the same level of opportunities that women get all the time, are you kidding me? This whole world will be destroyed. Are you complaining about 30% paternity fraud? You should start thinking 50-60%. We're different. We're just different. It's not for women to understand. That's not designed for women to understand. It's for men to understand so he can position himself against These activities that can destroy you. That's what it's designed for. The understanding is for you, gentlemen. I'm not asking women to think like men. It just makes no sense. Let me calm down. Okay.
If he says in the absence of suppression and consequences, women will cheat as much as men do. Absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely. But you see, we need to understand that we as Africans...
Actually, that's half a truth. Okay? Our social construct, for whatever reason, you can blame it on what happened 5,000 years ago. A woman is not necessarily going to do that. There's too many variables. There's too many variables that, oh, she gets presented with opportunities all the time. But there's more to it. There's too many. I'm telling you, I might sound like I'm on both sides here, but I am not. I promise you, I'll give you the last word at the end. I already gave you the 5 lessons. We are different. We're different, but it's not for you to understand, ladies. It's for the men to understand that we are different. That's what I put that together for. If you want to take, you want to teach to your sons so that your sons can understand that they're not a woman. If opportunities present themselves, even when they're in a committed relationships, they might take it. There's a higher chance for a man to take it than a woman. That's the point. But a two-face should not be explaining that because he can't. He obviously can't because he can't, right? A daddy freeze also should probably not be talking too much about this because he would just be throwing himself under the bus. The wife is going to listen to this and it's going to be like, wait, that's how you feel? Now she's going to start looking everywhere. You know, unless you're consistent with he's always in the house doing content, so I think it's fine.
We as Africans need to
Isaac,
we need to understand our roots.
Hey Yvette,
that's
bullshit.
Somebody should...
That's That's BS. A stream that does not know where it's streaming from will dry. That is still BS because that stream is moving forward. Okay? That stream might know its source because it's keep feeding it, right? But it's going somewhere. It does not argue with its destiny. What I'm seeing is a lot of people arguing with their destiny. And could it work? You're just wasting time. And potentially destroying families in the process. Destroying your chances, your ability to be able to lead the ladies, the women in your society and the children effectively. Literally disconnecting the cycle of life, right? God, men, women, children. The cycle of life. If the man cannot get himself together, it destroys everything. Literally. Right? And then there's going to be some kind of a reset. There's going to be consequences for that, which is okay with me. Right? There's going to be some consequences for that. There's going to be a reset, a correction, casualties. Right? Odo tí o bá mọ orísun ẹ ṣe kíni agbẹni ẹ kó mọ̀ yàtọ̀ sí pé you want to dwell there. To know your source doesn't mean you have to go back there and be dwelling in it and be using it to shame your own society, to destroy. Like, come on, like, context.
To translate this, someone said women are now practicing polyandry in some African countries. It is not normal. It is a deviant behavior.
Well, some things start in some ways to become normal. That's why I call it normalized. Eventually some things become normalized. The same thing you were just saying about the Western belief structure, blah blah blah, right? If enough people start to accept it, it becomes normal, and you'll be fighting your destiny saying it's not normal. No, it is normal. It is no longer 1965. It's just reality. I know it sounds like I'm repeating it, but it's true. That's literally the reality that you're not facing. It's 2023 and beyond. And if you're going to benefit from anything from 1965, you have to start with acknowledging that it's 2023 first.
But it is normal for a man to have more than one wife. Forget polygamy. It is also normal for a man to have concubines, side chicks. Your man will get side chicks.
Side chicks, we can argue that. I don't live in Lagos, so I don't know. I'm guessing that that's a big deal in Lagos, right? or in any world where people don't really collect woto like that for divorce, right? But polygamy, no, that's not normal. That's no longer normal. That's why you're arguing with your destiny. Precisely. If it was normal, there wouldn't be any need for all this shalaye. Daddy Freeze is talking about both sides of his mouth, and believe me, the whole generation men who would take his message, they were loving him yesterday. The super chat was heavy. Speaking of super chat, your support is absolutely welcome today. I appreciate it. I did 5 hours yesterday, not one single one. But shout out to all my members. Shout out to you, Natu, D Lover. Shout out to the members and the new member, Adewusi. I think. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Believe me, the whole generation would take his message and run with it, forgetting that Daddy Freeze maintains monogamous with his wife. Yeah, it's just, it will make sense, right? Hypocritical. Is he the only man that has to work to be faithful? Please. Oluremi, how you there? Obiajili say, sometimes I get tired of our African men labeling women emotional when it comes to Kerewa. If that is the case, then all the Olu shows on is that what they call it? Is that the spelling of Olu shows? That's an interesting spelling. All the Olu shows on Allen Avenue would not be there, so please stop the cap. Well, you stop the cap. Majority of women, okay, let's stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Majority of women are not Olu shows on Allen Avenue, okay. Now let me tell you a truth, okay. Those few women who are minority on the Olushus on Island Avenue are being patronized by a lot of normal men, by a whole lot of normal men because of this issue on this table we are on right now. Men that you respect, that you like. Conversation for another day. But I hear what you're saying. But no, the math no they add up. It's majority of men because of this issue are patronizing normal men with family, patronizing these people because partly because women say, is it food? Okay, and women that tend to be Olushos, I said, okay, now I'm saying Olushos, that tend to be Olushos, they're usually not stable human beings. They've gone through some things to end them up in that lifestyle, right? Another conversation. Hey, Maji Love, good to see you. Let's keep going here. We still have more.
Out of 600 people who watch me live, I can guarantee you 612. Maybe those of you who your papa no cheat on your mama, una papa no go reach.
Again, he's talking about cheating. Cheating, you might want to replace cheating with polygamy from 40 years ago. But cheating is not noble, right? That's more of what we should be saying. Not that a man who doesn't cheat is noble. No. The focus should be cheating is not a noble thing to do, right? Now, we can have a conversation around there are real reasons, external reasons as well, why people participate in that bad behavior. It's not just internal reasons. It's not just, it's a man who wanted to cheat anyway. No. That man who wanted to cheat anyway, who is cheating anyway, many women stay with him because of the values they get from him. Maybe it's just money, maybe it's the lifestyle, right? And the one who is collecting the most is the one who tried once or a few times and he got caught. He couldn't do it with his full chest. There's a reason why he wasn't doing it with his full chest. Because it is not normal.
You don't go past 6 over the 600. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Your father cheated on your mother. And then you expect your own husband will not cheat on you. Where was your husband raised, Pluto?
So what is this supposed to do to the ladies? Just accept the truth? And then everybody will be happy thereafter? Is that what this is supposed to do? What's the point of this conversation? To force women to think like men so that they can be happy ever after? Are they going to be happy? Will the cheating feel the same way? Will you get the same sweetness from the cheating? If they say you have the freedom, just go and do it. Will you enjoy it the same way? Right? If you say, you know what, just bring these girls home, right? Or would you start looking at the woman sideways? Wait, what? Why do you want me to bring it? Why do you want to be in threesomes? Are you say the one? This same people will start looking at you sideways. Okay? So there's confusion. There's confusion everywhere. Okay? Confusion everywhere. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Natu. That's right. Many politicians, pastors, businessmen are on that Allen Avenue, I bet. They're in business for a reason, not because of the minority of men. There's a reason why they're in business. Ola, what I'm saying is that the men who say that generalize too. Wait, I'm almost forgetting what you said earlier. Sometimes I get tired of our men. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But there's actually studies, okay? And Dr. Pastor Kingsley will tell us a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Okay, there are actual studies, okay, that justifies that. Come on, you know this now. Okay, maybe you don't know. Sometimes you are the exception and it might be hard to really connect the dots, right? This part right here, number 3, way number 3 or 5, separating emotions and sex. There are too many studies that justifies this. More men find it easier. It's not really generalization at this point, okay? To separate emotions. I know that personally, okay? That's for men, no, it's not that deep. For women, they need to connect. Even when it comes to the Kerewa activity itself, you can charge up a man in about seconds. It can be done in 2 minutes and he had such a good time. It felt like 2 years, right? On a general scale, yes, generalizing, you're right about that part. Generally speaking, for most women, it takes a little bit more than 20 seconds to get charged up to do Kerewa. Maybe it takes the whole day, that she feels good throughout the day, and now she wants to jump and ride you all night long. But it took the whole day to get to that space. It doesn't take a man that long, right? Why? Because it needs to feel right. It needs to feel right to men too, but at different levels, right? Men have emotions too, yes, but we don't express it the same way. Communication and emotional expression for men or women, it is not cap, it is true, it is different, right? But it's not stuff that you have. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, okay? You don't need to overthink it, okay? A man who wants you, who value you, is supposed to adjust for the fact that he's also dealing with a woman, not a man. In other words, supposed to make you feel safe, not be disrespectful, right? Speaking in front of you because he's trying to do justify shalaye nonsense that, hey, men are just like that. A man is supposed to know. A man is supposed to know not to be talking like that. That's actually the bigger deal. The bigger deal is actually a man trying to turn you to a man. That's actually the biggest issue that we have right now. It's not the activities. Women know what's up, okay? They know what's up. They like to live in fantasy. They like it like that. They don't want you to tell them certain things. They like to feel it. It needs to feel a certain way. Fuck your truth, right? Women don't like to hear the truth. You're not the first person to tell women that. Women know that among themselves, right? So I would say maybe I can agree with you that there's cap all over the place. Definitely, there's all kind of caps all over the place. But we're getting through it. We're getting through it. Wahala, is that men separate emotions from Kerewa, or is it that there hasn't been consequences for millennia? It's part of our social constructs. It's all of the above. Okay. It's all of the above, okay? Remember I said it's because women also subscribe to this idea when it comes to their sons, their brothers. They will be like, you don't sure, no, what is wrong with that? Is easy only her? Women will do that to women because we all subscribe to it. So yes, you're right. It's maybe social construct. When there's consequences over time, maybe over a generation of time, not just over a time of 2-3 years. Sometimes it takes generations to change that, right? To change the social construct, right? Then men may suddenly start to feel like, oh, no, that's too much. It costs too much. It costs too much. That one moment of enjoyment cost me too much, right? Some men will be long gone. It will be their children of children for you to see it have effect in society, right? That's the part that none of them are talking about in this conversation, right? But yeah, Ola, are we talking about women in Nigeria where hookup is a thing for so many young girls there? That's another level of the conversation, but we could talk about it, you know. That's our level of consideration. It depends. It depends. We're talking in general right now, Sha. You know, but particularly in this context that we're talking about right now.
Society imprints on the children. Society imprints on the children. Someone said, do I have a side chick? I don't have a side chick. What do I need a side chick
they will ask you now, since
because
you are
my wife
justifying
and
it actively.
I are working together to ensure that I don't have side chick. It's not, I can't do it alone. No. You think I was with a wife
that's not why he doesn't have a side chick. That's not why. He doesn't have a side chick because he doesn't have a void. He's mentioned it later on the video, okay? He doesn't have a void. It's much more matured. It's much more, it's not a 25-year-old man anymore. He told a bunch of story having side chick when he was in his 20s, 30s. Listen, the older you get, some of these things get old. That's the honest truth. He didn't mention any of that, but actually that's the truth to a lot of people. As you get older, there's just some activities you reduce, you slow down on it, right? You might want to argue about, oh, there's a lot of old men like, you're not understanding. You're not understanding. Just in general, everything gets old in life. Everything, okay? There's some activities that you just don't, that you participate less and less over time, right? So, it's not that they're working so hard. No, it's the way he's thinking at this age is a little bit more settled in, and in addition to that, he's having a good time. He's in love with his wife. There's no real void. He spoke more to that effect as he went through the session when he was talking about, listen, this woman was moving mad in the house. Are you now telling me that I'm not going to have a side chick? When, especially in that society, is actually absolutely okay. He had a bunch of friends around it that would make it okay. Nobody's going to judge him for that, right? But there's multiple variables that goes into making that okay. Okay, the major variables is societal standards and the personal values, moral, right? The moral compass of that particular individual, right? And I'm telling you, men, when men get presented with the opportunity, it takes the grace of God. Okay, you can go and ask your pastors in Nigeria, Uncle Suleiman Johnson, right? Listen, it takes the grace of God, right? So his effort should not be in proving to himself that he's righteous. That should not be his effort. His effort should be in making sure he positions himself to win both short and long term. Short term is to make sure that your angel, like he said, he mentioned that somewhere in the video, your angel feels like your household is the heaven for her to thrive and to want to have kiriwa every night, okay, every other day, right? That's something you can put in some work. And if she wants you that bad, you're even turned on by that, right? And if you're just if you have ojukokoro, then that's another conversation too, another level. It varies from people to people, right? If you live in a society like Nigeria where it's generally acceptable, that is a factor. Let's not be deceiving ourselves. There's too many things that goes into it. The least of them all is self-control, okay? Self-control. The society is a big influence on all of us. Every single one of us, okay? Your moral compass, yes, it's a factor. Your level of self-control, yes, that's a factor. But if your self-control, your idea of self-control lacks self-awareness, meaning understanding that you're a human being like the rest of us, if you're putting yourself on a pedestal, if you have complex issues, yeah, it might be too late before you find out. You will collect.
Sorry.
You will collect. All right. So I might come back to Daddy Freeze. But right about now, I think we should bring in Pastor Kingsley to help us a little bit. A lot of people disagree with him, you know. But let's go. I'll be right